Moving on, we are doing the neck and the body. So let's take a look at the components. First of all, for deformers, there is the neck rotation and neck transformer. At this point, there should be a lot of parts are actually under the spectrum or under the umbrella of neck transformer, because I think we have the face and hair and most of the stuff that aren't even the face itself. It's a child object of the neck transformer, and the neck transformer is part of the neck rotation. Neck rotation is part of the body. So let's take a look. As I think we already did the input for this one. You guys should have this circle ready. This is the neck rotation deformer. And if you don't have this is how we do it. First of all, you click anywhere and then click create deformer. And instead of choosing the curved surface type of deformer, pick the rotation. And as you pick rotation, you'll see these boxes grayed out. Press OK, and then you should have yourself a rotation deformer. What it does is that the circle is the center of the circle is the pivot point, and this hanger right here, this point here, is what you do to rotate the angle. So this does not move. It's only for rotating the neck or anywhere that you need rotation for. So neck rotation is the child object of body deformer, and neck transformer is a child object of neck rotation. Neck transformer, I'll talk about it in a bit, but let's take a look at others as well. There's also a body part where there's a body texture, which controls the breathing, and then there's the body deformer that controls body X, this one, and body Z, this one. Alright, so the left and right turning and the front and backwards leaning. Okay, so let's take a look into the details. Neck rotation, you want to have angle Z as the default as the perimeter, active perimeter. So if you take a look at this, it basically does this, and you should have, if you follow the previous lessons, most of your face head features should already be linked to the neck rotation. So as soon as you put these perimeter in, you turn it active, and then you go to left side and move your neck rotation from center to left, you should already see most of the head moving, most of it. All right, if there are some parts missing, a different part is still staying at the center that's not affected by rotating the neck rotation, then you need to go back to that part and make sure that it is the main transformer. It's actually tied to the neck rotation, because it should be controlling most part. And the hair, as I mentioned last time, it's the only one that sort of follow but doesn't, also does its own thing, because you turn to the left, you see the hair automatically adjusting to the gravity. All right, so the gravitational pull pulls it downwards and straighten it up. So they turn to this side, but yet the two strands should still be hanging vertically straight. All right, instead of pointing like slanted this way. So if you got this both in, then you can move on to neck transformer. Neck transformer should have body Z. Now perhaps maybe we should leave this to later on. So if you want to put it on, just put it there. Otherwise, hold on to it, because we should do the body before I do this part. Let's double check the draw. There's no neck drawing anyways. Let's double check the body drawing. The body drawing has breathing, as breathe perimeter on. So it's very subtle, it's very mild, but it would help a lot when you throw it into the Live2D viewer. It would look more lively if you have the breathing. It's not necessary, but you know, it's not much to do anyways. What it basically did was, if you look at these points here in the center, if I highlight them around these points, you can see it moves a little bit like that. So basically the shoulder and the chest are slightly, especially the side but not the center, right? The side, both sides, shoulder down, extending down to the chest, you may see a little bit of movement expanding as this perimeter move from 0 to 1 to positive 1. Also in the diaphragm or the tummy, it moves up a little bit. Everything else could keep the same. Of course, these are optional. You can even make the iris breathing, all right? So like if your character has some expression that breathes heavily, like beyond 1 point to positive 1, there's actually positive 2, where the character is breathing strongly, you can also have her iris sort of shrinking up a little bit, turning a little bit smaller, so that it's sort of like the character, if you look at animes and animations, you can notice that if the character is in shock, in panic mode, and it's breathing hard, you see the iris also contracting. So if you have that kind of expression, you can throw it in. I think I previously have a few sample works that include that feature, but not in this one. You can also make the parts that breathe, maybe the hat or some mascot hanging around, maybe a little pet. You want it to breathe along, or I can make this hair strand here breathe as well, as like as while she breathes in, this strand hair also expands a little bit to breathe along. I could do that. So there's a lot of options for breathing. It's up to you, but usually the basic wise is just a little bit in the shoulder, a little bit in the chest, and 1 bit in the diaphragm. That's all it takes. Don't go nuts, because it would look like the character is always grasping for air or something. So let's try to minimize it. So that's for the body texture. For the body deformer, which is the parent of all deformers, because body do not belong to as a child of any other deformers, all right? So body is the last one. Body is the biggest one. It's in the top of the hierarchy, all right? So body itself should have angle body X and body Z. So it's not angle X and angle Z, all right? So it's body X and body Z. Body X is left and right. Basically, it's very simple. For example, if I do this side, the right side, from the center to right side, I moved this point here, this. There, it should be in the center, right? If you look at originally, it was in the center, or I think is it hidden because of its 4x4? Let me think. All right, so I turned this in and stretched this out, and then also I think I moved this one in a little bit. All right, so it's 3 steps. All right, step 1 is this point, because this is 4 by 4. I think it should be 4 by 4. Let me double check. It's forgot how to check this. Oh yeah, it's number of converter. I think it's 4 by 4. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4 square, big square dots. Not the tiny ones. Not the blue dots. It's 4 by 4. So for you, if you have a full size, like a normal proportion character that has head to body ratio of 1 to 4, 1 to 5 about, so a teen to adult size, you may not have this point as your reference point. You want to pick something that is around the chest area, all right? Because for my character, when it turns, I want the chest to be leading it. Some people might take the pelvis instead. Some people might take the tummy instead. But for my case, I want the sort of the chest as the leading area, as it leads like towards a side. So I picked this point, and what I did is move it to a little bit to the center, and then let me try this. Let me pull this to the center, and I drag its arm, this arm piece here, this dot here, pull it the other side. Now what you see here is if there was a center line, the left side is currently stretched horizontally. and this one is narrowing down, so it gives a little bit of three-dimensional effect. That's probably most of it. You can do a little bit more by moving around blue dot or play along with the arms a little bit more, but remember, you don't want to distort it. Like at this point I already see the legs a bit too distorted. Oops, I could also do a little bit more adjustment like that. Maybe that's better, but I do not want to, you do not want to move her the ground, all right, because her feet should keep where she was standing at. She is moving her body to this side, and so all the weight should be on this leg. Perhaps this one can move a little bit if you want. You can be hanging up or something like that, but you do not want to move this side. You want this foot to always be on the same ground in order to look natural. Of course, unless your character doesn't have a foot, like it's only half a body, then you don't have to worry about this. But otherwise, if there's a foot, I would recommend you to keep it at the same point, all right? So I was working on a middle point, but you get the idea. Basically, it's not much. It's just move this to the left and move his arm back to the right. So the final purpose is that you'll see this side is wider than this side. So it feels like it's turning to one side, all right? Try to remain the arm or the most far right side, keeping it about the same position. So the tip of this hand here and tip of the legs, try to keep it in the same position so that it will look like it looks natural physically, all right? And the left side as well, and there you go. You should have both sides in. As you're moving this, it should tilt the head as well, because what you're doing is that you are tilting the transformer this way, and this transformer, the body transformer, is also the parent of the neck transformer, rotation especially. So if you turn this side, the rotation will start to readjusting to this position. So naturally, turn left, the head would tilt right. If you linked everything up correctly, this should be in place already. All right, and that's for body X, and body Z is back and forth. Now remember, there are two parts to this. One part is the body transformer, the other part is the neck transformer, which also has body Z active. First do the body. Go to body deformer. Oops. Yep. And then angle Z, give it 3 points. You want -10 and +10, and then a 0 there. Also, for body X as well, it's -10, +10. All right. I don't know why, but you know, it's probably just how the default animation works the best with it. So you got -10 and +10. For +10, I would recommend forward. Most of the time is forward. -10 is backwards. What I did was basically stretch. As you can see, the lines are stretched a little bit. Let me zoom out and let me see the whole picture. All right. So the whole transformer, deformer, the whole waffle piece, all right, this piece is expanded a little bit, but I want to keep the feet also at the same ground. All right, so lower half of the body remain in the same position. You want to emphasize on the upper body and the head to move forward. As you can see here, the mouthpiece is actually bleeding out of the face area. So we'll fix that in a bit, but let's keep that for now. You can also check if Photo X is working along with it. So that's forward. You know, just expand it and then narrow down the feet so that it readjusts in the same place. And for the other side, the back, I did not shrink it proportionally. I just basically squish it down a little bit, and I also stretch out the hip area to readjust the lower half. So the lower half looks like it's still at the same position before it starts moving backwards. So it's only the upper body leaning back, the lower body doesn't move, and that's the effect you want to give. All right, so after you got these two parts in, you can move on. You can go back to the next transformer and look at its body Z, because what you need to do is try to give a little adjustment in for upper left and right when it leans backward. So it's shrinking up the head a little bit to give it a little bit of a 3D effect. not much. Well, it's pretty. It looks like a lot, but it doesn't really affect the. Yeah, it doesn't even like. It's not even visible. I don't know why I put that in. I probably just slightly bit more around there. So you see the head is narrowed as it moves this way. All right, and I'm seeing the inner head bleeding out a little bit, and we'll fix that in a bit. And forward wise, you want to push it forward. It is expanded by size. Yes, it expanded by size, and also I narrowed back in the lower part so the face would turn sharper instead of just just popping a head out with a chin tilted up. You want a chin tilt inwards, all right? So there you go. You have the neck and the body in, and that should finish most of it, and the rest is just patching up. So I might as well talk about the patch up here. If you also have the same problem, this is what you got to do. Now let's go back to the mouth. This is a little bit complicated actually. Now here's a problem. All right. So you have, let me think. You have, which part is it connected to? You can directly, if you think directly, all right, you may think about, okay, well, maybe I'll just use the neck transformer deformer and turn to the problem, the perimeter where it has problem, and then I'll just maybe pull this up and push the mouthpiece back in, since the mouthpiece has to be part of a child object of the neck transformer, so this gotta work. However, as you push it in, obviously you'll push in other parts as well. Hopefully it doesn't affect much. Maybe you can ultimately just accept this, all right? So obviously it pushed in the eye a little bit. It pushed in the whole the brows and the bangs a little bit. So I can go with this. I can work with this. Yeah, so it looks natural, right? Right? And long as it doesn't move in the face. Probably the face is not related to your neck transformer. Let me double check if the face, what parents it has. Neck rotation. So it's under neck rotation, and neck rotation is under neck transformer. So it's actually still part of neck transformer because it passed through neck rotation, the distortion is not too effective. So that sort of saved my problem. But for you, if this is not the option, now we got to think about what we're going to do now. So let's return to where it was. It was basically like this. And now what we got to do. So let's go take a look at the mouth and the mouth transformer. Now, mouth transformer controls all the mouthpiece. So if you fix the mouth transformer, then obviously it will be all right. And maybe you say, okay, let's have angle Z. Obviously you need angle Z in. Otherwise, if you fix this anchor point, when it go, like if you move this up without turning on angle Z, then when you go back to the middle point, it's also pushed up. Now it looks different. It looks different from before. Before it looks like this. This is the original design. But I move it to this angle, this body Z angle, and then I push it up. Obviously, because it does not have defined perimeter, so it affects all times. All right. So no matter which angle, body Z perimeter you are at, you will have your mouth pushed up a little bit. And that is not the original design. It may look fine, but obviously you want to follow your original character design, right? So that's not gonna work. Well, how do you do that? We can put the perimeter in then. Let's go to mouth transformer, body Z, put them in as well. Oh, by the way, I've been using the free trial version, pro version for a bit at the beginning of most of the tutorial, and it just expired a few days ago. So currently I'm also using a free version. I was planning to get the pro one, but I want to try the free as well, so that I make sure I can answer questions if you have questions about the free version. So I'm just purposefully trying out the free version and check its limitations and restrictions. But anyways, so here's one of the things. All right, for the free trial version, you cannot have more than 2 parameters active at the same time on each material or deformer. Currently, the mouth transformer already has angle X and angle Y, so there are two of them already. I cannot add the body Z in it. So, but if you have the Pro version, you can. And you may think, I was gonna say, you may think that's a resolution, all right? So yeah, you just have to put angle Z in, turn to this side of angle Z, and just push up this side so the other side are not affected, right? The problem with that is, now you have 3D transformers, right? And that's like I said in previous episodes, you do not want to have that many activated perimeters in one object at a time, because once you have angle Z in, you fix one of them, now you gotta do 8 more times for each angle. For each active anchor point, you need to fix the body Z once. Yes, you can do that, but you know, we try not to do that because we cut down workload. So what is the ultimate option? All right, what you gotta do is simply add a new one. Like especially now when I'm using the free version, I cannot have more than 3 perimeters active at a time. Then I have to add a new one anyways. All right. So I click on mouth transformer. Mouth transformer is a child object of neck transformer. Now that's what we want to do now is adding a midpoint or a bridge, a transformer, and sort of a layer between neck transformer and mouth transformer. So between these two, I want to add another transformer. Now remember what we have to do, and then we'll do it. Right? So click on neck transformer, or I'm just gonna click anywhere. I'm just gonna select mouth group, and I'm gonna deselect anything, and I'm gonna create transformer, and I'll do the curved one for this one. All right, and I'll call it sort of a mouth neck transition. Let's call it for now. All right. So first of all, let's resize it down here. And there. And now we got to think of the priorities, the hierarchy, all right? Obviously, we just said this one is between the neck and the mouth. So let's have the deformer set as the child object of the neck transformer. So neck transformer is parent. Right here, it's already been done. So that's fine. Now we got to do this part. We want this to be under mouth neck transition. Select this and go to find the newest one we just did, mouth neck transition, and there you go. Now they're all in the right order. Now you just have to fix this one. What you gotta do with this is turn on angle Z at 3 points, and then go to the anchor, the perimeter where it has problem with, and now you can fix it. You can probably push up a little bit and then move it. I tap the upward arrow key to move it up a little bit. So, is angle Z on? Is angle Z on? It's not. All right, I don't know how it happened, but let's do it again. I'll probably say the wrong one. Anyways, so we have angle Z. All right, let's shrink it up a little bit. Or what, is it done already? Okay, I probably just fixed it just now. Let me double check. So the body Z has the mouth neck transition active, and currently when it leans forward, the mouthpiece does not break out of jaw. And let's try opening the mouth as well, because that would extend a little bit. So let's give it a little test. That's fine. Let's also try the neck tilting. So let's look at angle Z. Let's tilt the head, and let's give that a little try. All right. So that's still okay, barely, but it's still okay. And we can also give the head a little bit more test the diagonal, especially. This side is probably most dangerous, and it's still fine. So we got it. We got the problem fixed. Of course, we are seeing other problems at the same time. We are seeing like these little parts are breaking out. This is like an order problem. This is like a draw order problem, I think. It's probably because I'm, let me check if I return head to normal state. Okay, so normal state is fine. It's only when it leans forward, the ears are breaking away from the face, and there's also the problem with the eye cover popping out of the face, and that's about it. Those are parts. Did I ever also say there's another problem with the head? Yeah, if it's leaning backwards, the head is popping out. Now, if you want sort of use the same method and you apply it on all of them, they probably fix all the problems, alright? I know it's a little bit more work. I know it looks hideous with a lot more transformers than you need, but that's one way to patch things. And for now, I guess we have to stick with that method until I got some better ideas, or if you have some better ideas, you can share with me. But I guess we'll stick with that. If you got some patching to do, that's the best way to patch. Add a new transformer and go active the perimeter where it has trouble with, and then work on that perimeter. And that's one way of patching stuff. Now there's still one more way of patching stuff. I'll talk about it probably in the next episode. Have we done everything with the body? The body, backwards, frontwards, side, back, front, and also the tilting with the angle Z. This. The hair looks natural, the ears are breaking off, and turning your head around. So that is about, yeah, your project should be almost done. Yeah, if you've been following all the episodes, your project at this point should be considered done. Just a little bit of patching, and yeah, well, instead of waiting for next week, I'm just gonna let you know how to do it. All right, if you're done, I know you want to look it in, put it into Live2DViewer and give it a play, give it a run immediately. So this is how you gotta do. You have to, well, obviously save your file first, and then export as .moc file, and yeah, just go with everything's fine. Press OK, and then save it somewhere in a folder that you can find it, and just drag and drop that file into your Live2DViewer. You should see your character alive by now. Obviously, it's not moving. Well, you drag and drop. I'm gonna show you in a quick run through. All right, so you're looking at Live2DViewer. I don't know, because I'm recording right now. I don't know what the footage would look like when it comes out. In my past, I have trouble setting up or video capturing the Live2DViewer, because I think it has been only showing this part, only the display window, and it does not show any panel, or the controlling panel. So I'm going to describe what I see right now, right? So as I believe that you also have Live2DViewer open. On your left side, you should see the main controller, and you will see, your model folder, model name .moc, and you see a small subfolder called textures, and that's about it. And you see a bunch of parameters down there. And what you got to do right now is go to top left and click on project. Highlight sample and open a bigger another side menu, and you want to add motion all. And once you have motion all, you should already implement the idle animation and also the breathing and also the eye blinking. Actually, I don't think breathing is in. Let me double check if Alright, so you have, I think you have idle at least. There's eye blink that comes with idle, and you can add a bit more by press animation, and you see the menu, and you go check auto eye blink. Also check breathe. Alright, once you got those two in as well, you should see your character should eye blink at all situation, and also you see the breathing effect kicking in. Now there you go. I hope you have fun with your characters. I'll talk more about it in future episodes. For the remaining of this episode, I want to share some information I got from Live2D. So I got some information to share with. One, they say that they're releasing or they're developing a newer version of Live2D Cubism, Live2D Cubism 2.1, and it has about 30 new improvements and features. They didn't list it for me, but it's going to be an exciting update. And then, secondly, Live2D Euclid, in the recent user conference, Live2D Alive 2015 award, they have tried using virtual reality and Euclid to have some interactive activity with the character, and that worked out pretty good. So if you want, I think they have pictures uploaded on their Facebook. And also, finally, I also asked them what do they plan for in terms of international expansion, because I asked them do they feel like their English materials and also other foreign languages, there seems to be a high demand, but there aren't a lot of supply, a lot of support from the officials to help users to learn, and there aren't a lot of things happening in English side of Live2D, and they remind me, and obviously I want to remind you as well, that if you got anything you understand and I can't answer you, you can always come to the official website, go to English, and press Learn Live2D, and here's a forum for users. All right, so if you get in there and you can check out some recent questions submitted by users about how to fix certain things, how to work things out. So if you got any kind of questions regarding Live2D, technical or development wise, that I don't have answers to, you can always come here and ask the official staffs, and perhaps other users could also share their own opinions or advices if they come by your questions. And if English is not your first language, and maybe if you need resources in Chinese or Korean, they say that they will expand to those areas very soon. So that's all for now. If I got any more news updates, I'll let you guys know. Until then, I'll see you guys next lesson. I'll talk about tips and tricks, including what I call the patching method. Hopefully that will help you in a lot of situations. And then I'll go to Live2D animation and then Live2DViewer to implement all the animations, and that's about it. And so I'll see you guys next lesson.